The following clip, unbelievably, is taken from a 2001 video game, Metal Gear Solid 2. Its creator, renowned game designer Hideo Kojima, is considered a revolutionary in the field, and for me this scene is a piece of art, especially in light of recent news. Kojima's fascination throughout his life with technology and future developments made him so far ahead of his time that when we look at this scene, it seems beyond belief that this was made 24 years ago, before the existence of social media censorship, the AI age, and fact checkers. To provide some context on this scene, the character on the right of the screen, Raiden, is speaking with his mission control, the characters Colonel and Rose, who in this scene are actually AI versions of themselves, which you, the player, may be confused about at the time. The backstory is that you find out that a powerful group of individuals are censoring the net in order to control human thought, reassuring Raiden that by doing so, they are protecting him and wider society from harm, in an age where misinformation and trivial data is rife. I've been motivated to make this rather spooky video after having eerily similar conversations online this week with people who stand against Meta's decision to gradually strip away censorship and get rid of the so-called independent, so-called fact checkers. Anyway, here it is.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed. Who are you?
We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives, through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context.
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you.
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a concept you conveniently borrowed under the logic that would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap!
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best, and you got there all by yourself.
Oh, what happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better. Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
You've done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
The individual is supposed to be weak, but far from powerless. A single person has the potential to ruin the world.
And the age of digitized communication has given even more power to the individual. Too much power for an immature species.
Building a legacy involves figuring out what is wanted and what needs to be done for that goal. All this you used to struggle with. Now, we think for you.
We are your guardians, after all.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course. Anything can be quantified nowadays. That's what this exercise was designed to prove. The S3 plan does not stand for solid snake simulation. What it does stand for is selection for societal sanity.
What's even stranger is that during the gameplay section of this segment of the game, the AI replica of Colonel continually tests you, the player, by breaking the fourth wall and telling you to do stupid stuff like turn off the game console.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
What's wrong with you?
Don't worry, it's a game. It's a game just like usual.
You'll ruin your eyes playing so close to the TV.
The idea of this, should you follow his orders and turn off the game console, for example, is to prove that you, the player, are far too stupid to be able to make decisions by yourself, and to show how easily you are fooled with a world of AI in the digital age. Thus, you need the internet to be censored by them to protect you from information that could harm you or that you're too uneducated to be trusted with. How many conversations like those have we had with people this week? Raiden in the game then is a representation of you, and the AI kernel is a representation of government, big tech censors and those who support them. Now, funnily enough, what with me actually making this video to speak out against this kind of stuff, all I remember was the 12-year-old me getting freaked out by that scene and just following his orders and turning off the game console. Furthermore, the 12-year-old me had no real understanding of what was going on in this segment of the game and the future it was predicting. But now at 35 years of age, it's all become abundantly clear. Anyway, to conclude, Personally, I think Meta's decision to remove overbearing censorship and put the power back into the hands of us, the people, is a great decision and comes as such a relief as the Overton window shifts after some truly dark times in recent years where it felt like we were living in a dystopian nightmare, particularly 2020, which was the peak of systemic brainwashing, cancel culture, and control of so-called misinformation, i.e. dissenting voices against the regime. The truth is, misinformation will always exist whether the internet is censored or not. The trouble is, when it was how things were in years like 2020, it's just one side that gets to peddle the misinformation, while the voices that oppose such misinformation are shut down so that the approved narrative can be pushed. Yes, logging onto platforms like X now is an offensive shitshow for many people, but being offended is the price you pay for living in a free society where you are allowed to advance your views in the battle of ideas. To those of you who prefer the previous years, I say this: I'm not happy for you or the people you put your faith in to decide for the rest of us what is right and wrong, what is bigotry and what is not, and what is misinformation and what are facts. I'm capable of making my own decisions on that, and I deserve a voice in putting my views forward in the battle of ideas. Furthermore, I'll end by saying that stripping back censorship is great for the advancement of animal rights. I constantly hear those who support big tech censorship of so-called offensive opinions say stuff like, "None are free until all are free," with regards to animal liberation intertwining with human liberation. But the truth is, we are not free so long as we live in such dark times as previous years, where unelected people whose credibility and intentions we don't know were granted the power of controlling the spread of information.